What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be going over the best 50 tips and tricks for your new iPad mini 6th generation. We have researched and tested many tips and tricks and features for the iPad mini, and in this video we have reviewed the best ones just for you. Welcome to Search Tech. Our mission is to help you get the most out of your tech through reviews and tutorials. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell to get notified when we release a new video. And there's going to be useful links below in the description covering everything that we discuss in this video. With that being said, let's jump right into it. First up, we're going to have Sidecar. There are a few great reasons why you might want to get a bit of extra screen real estate when using your Mac. But instead of taking up a bunch of space with a second monitor, you can use your iPad. And to do this from your Mac, just open up the System Preferences app, select Sidecar from the list of options, and then click the drop down under Connect to and select the name of your iPad from the list. Then we're going to have Center Stage, and with the new 12 megapixel ultra wide camera along with the advancements of machine learning, your camera can automatically pan and crop. By doing so, you remain the primary focus throughout your video calls, and while in a video call, you just have to swipe down on the top right corner and then tap the video effects button at the top of the control center. Tap the Center Stage icon to turn it on. Then we're going to have no noise, and anyone who uses their iPad mini a lot for video calling will undoubtedly be able to enjoy the new FaceTime features. A good example of this is the voice isolation functionality. This mutes sounds in the background and the program focuses purely on your voice. During the FaceTime, just go to FaceTime, start call, press the microphone and select voice isolation. Then we're going to have focus, and when I look at the nicest features on iPadOS 15 that I use almost every single day, focus mode is high on this list, and it ensures that I have exactly the right apps available at the right times and that I'm not disturbed by certain notifications. You can set the functionality by going to Settings, Focus, and then Go. You can select the appropriate mode here and adjust it to completely to your liking. Then we're going to have Quick Notes, and with iOS 15, Apple added a handy Quick Notes feature to the iPad that's designed for jotting down notes without having to open up the Notes app, any app, or in the home screen. Just swipe up diagonally from the right hand corner of the screen. And right here you can type your notes or write with the Apple Pencil. You can also swipe to collapse the Quick Note to the side if you want to hide it temporarily and bring it back to look something up. And then you're going to tap Done when you're finished. Next up, how to use apps in floating windows. So when an app is open, just swipe up to open the dock and drag an app over the app that's already open. The new app will open in a narrow window and you can move it around and keep in the app that's below it. You can also use the split view for multitasking, and after opening an app, bring up the dock and drag an icon from the dock either the left or the right edge of the screen until you see a dark box. After you see this, release your finger and the app will be docked to the side. You can also resize these apps by just using the handlebar to resize them right here in the middle. You can go from left to right or whatever position you want. Then we're going to have add multiple fingerprints. So considering that you'll find yourself using the iPad mini in different orientations like this one or this one, you will want to set up multiple fingerprints. To do this, just open the Settings app on your iPad, scroll down and tap Touch ID and passcode. Then you're going to enter your passcode and under Fingerprints, tap the Add Fingerprint button. Just follow the on-screen prompts to add another fingerprint and repeat the process until you have added all the fingerprints that you want to register. You can also use large app icons, and with iPadOS, Apple retooled the way the home screen looks. After adding widgets to iOS 14, widgets have arrived with iPadOS 15. But this also means that we have a slightly different home screen layout with lots of extra space. And if this doesn't really suit your needs, you can switch over to the large app icons. Just open up the Settings app, head to Home Screen and Dock in the sidebar, and then on the right side tap the toggle next to Use Large App Icons. Then we're going to have drag and drop files or text between apps. So once you have two apps running side by side, you can drag and drop images, text, and files from one app to another, just like I'm doing right now in the video. You can also watch videos in picture-in-picture, and this feature is enabled by default when you're watching a video on an app like Netflix or maybe Safari. Just hit the home button or swipe up to go to your home screen, and the video will continue to play in a small floating window that you can resize and move around. If you want to disable the picture-in-picture, just open up Settings, head to General, and then Picture-in-Picture, and then deactivate the toggle. You're also going to have lock notes, and one of the lesser known features of Apple Notes is the ability to lock notes using Touch ID. So just open a note, tap on the share button, and select the lock note to get started. You can also copy items from your iPhone to your iPad, and Apple makes this easy, so as long as you're on the same iCloud account, the same Wi-Fi network, and Bluetooth is enabled, on your iPhone copy the text or photo as you normally would, and then on your iPad open up the document where you want to paste it. Hold down your finger until the menu appears, and then press paste, and then it should appear on your iPad. You can also move multiple apps together on the home screen, and you can tap and hold on an app icon to put it on wiggle mode, then drag one icon so it's out of the grid, and now with your other hand or finger you can tap on more apps to add them to the pile of selected icons. Now move the finger to another page or folder and release it to the move of all selected app icons to the next place. Then we're going to have swipe down for punctuation and symbols. You can notice right here that each letter on the keyboard also has a corresponding symbol over the top of the letter in gray. Those are the symbols, punctuation, or numbers you get if you hit the shift key on either side of the spacebar, but you don't have to shift. Just swipe down quickly on the individual key. For example, I'm going to tap the E and then swipe down, and you can see that I get a 3. I'm also going to teach you how to use the hidden cursor mode. So when you have the software keyboard up, just tap and hold on the spacebar to turn on the keyboard into a trackpad. Then you can swipe left, right, up, or down to move the cursor in those directions, and this is going to give you precise control over the cursor placement. Then we're going to have floating keyboard. So when the digital keyboard is visible, press down on the keyboard button on the lower right and then press floating in the menu that pops up, and the keyboard will move. If the keyboard is in the way, simply move it around, and if you're done, quickly press the keyboard button and then slide the keyboard up or down. Don't press down for too long though, because the floating menu will pop up again. Then we're going to have enable reduce motion for better experience. To do this, you just have to open up settings, head to accessibility, then motion, and then turn on reduce motion. You can also translate anywhere and select the text that you want to have translated by long pressing and then dragging the blue bars. You're going to tap on selected text, and then on the bar that pops up, tap the translate option, and the text will be translated in a small window to the side. You can also add website to home screen, and there are some things that still work better in Safari and negate the need to install a special app. In such a case, you can add websites as home screen shortcuts, and to do this, you just have to open up the website. You're going to tap the share button and select add to home screen. You can also activate the speech to text, and to do this, you can open up the Notes app and tap on the microphone icon that appears on the keyboard. Apple will ask you if you want to enable dictation, and you're going to tap yes. Now when you tap the microphone when it's available on the keyboard, you can use speech to text. If you want to disable speech to text, all you have to do is head to your settings app and then tap keyboards. You're going to scroll down and toggle off enable dictation. You can also enable Assistive Touch, and Assistive Touch gives users a software home button that is also available on the iPad. To activate it, you just have to go to Settings, General, Accessibility, and then Assistive Touch to enable it. Once enabled, you can define double tap and hold gestures for quick actions. And if you want to customize it, all you have to do is right here in the same menu, just customize it from the options below. You could also use the app library to keep your home screen clean. To do it, just swipe all the way all over the end of your home screen pages, and the app library will automatically organize your apps into categories that you can scroll through the categories and then tap into each one to see all the apps listed there. Or you can take advantage of the search feature. Now it's time for you to learn how to use the screen time to monitor your time spent. To do this, just go to Settings and then go on Screen Time to enable the feature. And here you can see the calculated time that you spent on your screen. And if you don't know how to take a screenshot, all you have to do is use the power button and the volume up button to take a screenshot. Once the screenshot is taken, you will see a preview of it in the bottom left corner that you can tap and quickly edit or share. You could also enhance Safari with extensions, and getting Safari extensions is as simple as opening up the Settings app, scroll down to Safari and then tap on Extensions, and then select More Extensions to get the Extensions section in the App Store. There is also a new way to access the Control Center, and to do this, you swipe down from the right edge of the status bar. And if you want to customize it, just head to Settings, then go on Control Center and pick from the plus signs that you want to add, or the negative one if you want to take off the Control Center. If you don't know how to record your screen, all you have to do is go to Settings, Control Center, and Customize Controls, right where we were before, and then turn on the screen recording toggle, which is this one right here. Now, whenever you're ready, just open up the Control Center and tap Screen Recording Toggle to start recording the screen. Now let's talk about widgets. So many of Apple apps and third-party apps come with widgets, which you can put on your home screen or view in the Today Center to get information at a glance. If you don't know how to add it, long press on an empty space on the home screen to enter the jiggle mode where icons are wiggling. Tap on the plus button in the upper left hand corner of the display and then scroll through the widget suggestions, or search for a specific widget. Tap on the widget that you want and then swipe through the different options. For many widgets, you can choose a size, and for others, you can customize the function. When you have customized your widget to your satisfaction, tap Add Widget and it will be placed on the home screen. Then from there, you can drag it into the position that you want, and then you're done. You can also use Shortcuts app for automation, and then use Shortcuts app by Apple helps bridge some of the gaps. You can create automation workflows that will help you do things that apps on the App Store just cannot do. You could also quickly access Spotlight from anywhere, and to do this, just stay in your home screen and swipe down from the middle of the screen. This will bring you to the Spotlight menu. You can also set app limits, so if you find yourself spending too much time on Netflix or Facebook, just go to Screen Time section and find the app, then set an app limit for it. You can do like 30 minutes or maybe 1 hour a day. And if you want to know more information on your photos, the iPad Photos app has a handy tool that works really well. And to see it, just open up the Photos app and swipe up to see all the details for the picture in the gallery. You can also close multiple tabs in Safari, and to do this, just tap and hold on the tab switcher button and tap on the Close All Tabs button to quickly close all open tabs. You could also charge your device, and for this one in particular, you just need a charging cable and plug it in the side of the iPad to charge any device. If you don't know how to use your dock, the dock is available and is your starting point to all interactions on the iPad. The dock is the bottom row of icons which can hold up to 13 apps, and it's available everywhere like I mentioned before. So if you're in an app and you don't see it, just a short swipe up from the bottom will take you to the dock. Then you can just tap on the app to open it. You can also customize your home screen by just long pressing on the apps until they start shaking, and once they do, you can just move the apps around and even make your own folders to customize your home screen. And if you want to customize it, fill the dock with your most used apps, so that then you'll readily need to go to the home screen to launch the apps. Just tap and hold on an app until it starts shaking and then drag it to the dock. You could also swipe up to go home, and a simple swipe up from any app to go to the home screen. And there is also the app switcher. A short swipe up will bring up the dock, but if you swipe up from the bottom of the screen to the middle of the screen, you will reveal the app switcher, where you can also quit apps. So when you're in the app switcher, just swipe up on the app preview to force quit the app. And there is also a quick gesture for app switching. Just swipe left to right, making a small semicircle, and then you'll be able to switch from the most recent app to another. I'm also going to show you how to hide the Notes column. And to do this, just head on your Notes app and you're going to select the two arrows that I'm pointing at right here on the screen. So just select that and you're going to hide the Notes column that it's on the left. And lastly, we have delete your home screen pages. To do this, just long press on an empty area of the home screen and then tap on the row of dots at the bottom of the display. You can then drag home screen pages to rearrange, or tap on the check mark and then the negative sign to delete them. Alright everyone, so that was it for today's video. If you got some valuable information out of it, Please don't forget to give it a like and also leave a comment down below on what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications every time we post a new video. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next one.